I asked 5 of the biggest AIs to rank the 20 greatest players ever. People have been debating this ranking for years, but now we'll see if AI can settle this debate once and for all. So let's start with the votes for the 20th place. And we already kick off with a controversial one, cause Grok picked Mbappe. Yeah, Mbappe in the top 20 of all time. Meanwhile, ChatGPT voted for Modric, Google Gemini went with Xavi, and the keeper Lev Yashin got 2 votes. Here's how it's gonna work. Each AI will pick their top 20 players, and the higher a footballer is ranked, the more points he gets. For being chosen in the 20th place, it's 1 point, in 19th place, 2 points, up until the first place, which gives 20 points. In the end, we'll use that to determine the final list. At the moment, Lev Yashin has 2 points and the others have 1. Now, for the 19th place, Lev Yashin got 2 more votes. After all, he's considered as one of the greatest goalkeepers ever. Meanwhile, Grok voted for Maldini and Zipseek went with Ronaldinho. Maldini and Ronaldinho showing up at 19th in the ranking surprised me. After all, Maldini is a 5-time Champions League winner and Ronaldinho is a Ballon d'Or and World Cup winner. On the other hand, the French Le Chat voted for Xavi. So Lev Yashin climbed up to 6 points, while Xavi has 3 and Maldini and Ronaldinho 2. Now at 18th place, Ronaldinho shows up again, this time voted by Grok. Meanwhile, Google Gemini picked Maldini. And now some new names pop up: Van Basten, Iniesta, and Matthäus. Van Basten is a guy who won 3 Ballon d'Ors, while Matthäus is considered one of the best central midfielders ever, and Iniesta, well, he's Iniesta. So for now, the GOAT ranking looks like this. Lev Yashin remains in the lead with 6 points, followed by Maldini and Ronaldinho with 5 points each, and the others have 3. This ranking will change a lot, so let's check out the votes for the 17th place, where none of the AIs could agree again. Grok voted for Xavi and Zipseek voted for Maldini. But new names popped up, cause ChatGPT voted for Roberto Baggio, an attacking midfielder who won the 1993 Ballon d'Or and even helped Italy reach a World Cup final. Meanwhile, Gemini voted for Zico. Maybe he's not as well known in Europe, but this attacking midfielder made history at the Brazilian club Flamengo, scoring over 500 goals for them. Meanwhile, Le Chat went with a different choice, the French Henry. That's a bit suspicious. Each of them got 4 points for being chosen in this position. If you're wondering, here's the prompt. I asked each AI to rank them based on a mix of stats, trophies, and literally any other factors they wanted to consider, giving the AIs total freedom to pick whoever they wanted. Now, for the 16th greatest player ever, the AIs almost reached a consensus, cause Grok, ChatGPT, and DeepSeek all voted for Iniesta. This guy's a legend, having won a World Cup, scoring in the final, 2 UEFA Euros, 4 Champions Leagues, and so on. Grok literally put Iniesta ahead of Xavi and Ronaldinho in its ranking. The ones who disagreed were Le Chat, who voted for Ronaldinho, and Google Gemini, who voted for Gerd Müller. Between the 60s and 70s, Müller scored over 500 goals for Bayern Munich, won a World Cup, an European Championship, and 3 Champions Leagues. An absolute legend. Now the ranking has changed a lot. Iniesta jumped from 3 to 18 points, rocketing to the top of the list. That's wild. Then in second place, it comes Ronaldinho with 10 points, Maldini with 9, and Xavi with 7. Lev Yashin started to fall behind. But now for the 15th place of the greatest players ever, we see Yashin's name again, picking up another 6 points for him. Meanwhile, Roberto Baggio also got a vote. The French Le Chat literally said that Baggio is greater than Xavi and Iniesta. That's crazy. But in this 15th place, Xavi shows up twice. The legendary Barcelona midfielder won it all. A World Cup, 2 UEFA Euros, one of them as the best player, 4 Champions Leagues and more. But the guy who surprised me the most here is Gemini's pick, Eusebio. Yeah, this guy, nicknamed the Black Panther, played most of his career for Benfica, where he won the 1962 European Cup. But more than that, he won the 1965 Ballon d'Or and helped Portugal reach the semi-final in the 1966 World Cup, where he was the top scorer of the tournament. He was so good that for the 14th greatest player in history, Grok voted for him. But the others disagreed. ChatGPT picked Gerd Müller, Le Chat went with Maldini, Gemini chose Baggio, and DeepSeek voted for Van Basten. Dude, Google Gemini put Xavi in 20th place, while Baggio in 14th place. I wonder where Xavi will end up in the final ranking. So with these new votes, the ranking has completely shifted. Eusebio climbed to 13 points and Maldini jumped from 9 to 16 points. But Roberto Baggio hit 17, Iniesta stays at 18, and Xavi leads it with 19 points. It blows my mind that Eusebio is ahead of Ronaldinho. Grok alone put Eusebio 4 positions ahead of him. But let's keep going to see who the AIs voted for as the 13th greatest player ever. And here a new name pops up. Ferenc Puskás, the guy who literally inspired the name of that award of the most beautiful goal of the year. This guy was huge. World Cup runner-up with Hungary and 3-time Champions League winner with Real Madrid, scoring over 200 goals for the club. No wonder Zipseek also voted for him. But Lusha and Gemini disagreed, voting for another guy, Van Basten. He's definitely climbing up the ranking now. But ChatGPT disagrees, casting its vote for a completely different guy, George Best, the unforgettable Man United player, winner of the 1968 Champions League and Ballon d'Or. But more than that, he was ahead of his time with his dribbling skills and was an icon of the game. He was so talented that for the 12th greatest player ever, Gemini and Zipseek also voted for him. Meanwhile, Lusha voted for Puskás and Maldini showed up again with ChatGPT. Dude, Grok put Maldini in the 19th place, while ChatGPT put him in 12th place. Look at the difference. But now Grok voted for a new name, Michel Platini. This guy was an attacking midfielder, but he was so good that he was the top scorer of the Italian league for 3 straight years. He also won the UEFA Euro with France and the Champions League with Juventus. He was a massive star, so much so that he achieved the feat of winning 3 consecutive Ballon d'Ors. He was such a legend that for the 11th greatest player ever, Platini showed up again, alongside votes for Ronaldinho, George Best and Gerd Müller. Look, while Zipseek placed Ronaldinho in 19th place, ChatGPT placed him here. Another huge difference in opinion. But apart from them, Grok voted for a guy who hasn't appeared until now, Garrincha. This winger spent practically his entire career at Botafogo from Brazil. But what makes him a legend is that he won the 1958 World Cup alongside Pelé, and in 1962, with Pelé injured, he carried Brazil to another World Cup title, being the tournament's top scorer and best player. He's considered one of the greatest dribblers in history. With these new votes, let's see how the ranking is shaping up. Xavi is still at 19 points, but Platini has tied with him. Meanwhile, Ronaldinho has reached 20 points, Gerd Müller 22, Puskás is tied with Maldini, Van Basten is at 26, and the greatest of all time for now is George Best, with a 10-point lead over the second place. And believe it or not, that gap is about to get even bigger, because for the 10th greatest player ever, Grok voted for George Best. If you don't believe it, I'll leave a link to the response of each AI in the description. But if George Best was such a skillful dribbler, so was Garrincha, who got a vote from Gemini. Meanwhile, Platini showed up twice again. Platini retired relatively early, at just 32 years old. If he had played for more time, he could have been even greater. But the French Lusha didn't vote for him just yet. It brought a new name to the list, Alfredo Di Stefano. Di Stefano played for Real Madrid for 11 years and won 5 Champions Leagues in a row, scoring in all 5 finals, plus 8 Spanish League titles. He was so great that he won 2 Ballon d'Ors and even the Super Ballon d'Or in 1989, an award that recognized him as the greatest European player up to that point. He was massive, so for the 9th greatest player ever, Grok, ChatGPT and Zipseek all voted for him. But Lusha had already voted for him before, so it finally voted for Platini. Meanwhile, Google Gemini decided to cast a vote for a guy who hadn't appeared yet, Ronaldo, the R9. For many, he should have been ranked higher on this list. He became the youngest player ever to win a Ballon d'Or. At just 20 years old, he won the award after scoring 47 goals in a single season for Barca. He later won another Ballon d'Or in 2002 for winning the World Cup, plus 3 FIFA Player of the Year awards. For sure, he's gonna show up again in this video. But let's see how the ranking looks so far. And the first surprising fact is that Garrincha has surpassed Ronaldinho, adding up 21 points. Meanwhile, George Best has climbed to 47 points. So the current leader of this ranking is Michel Platini, with a whopping 53 points. Let's see where he'll end up in the ranking after all the votes are finished. So let's keep going, moving on to the votes for the 8th greatest player ever. And in this position, a single player got 2 votes, Ronaldo, the R9. already piling on more points for him. But Germany threw a new name into it, Zinedine Zidane, one of the most skillful playmakers football has ever seen. With unmatched elegance and passing, he also has numbers to back it up. A Champions League title, scoring a goal in the final, and UEFA Euro goals in 2 World Cup finals with 1 win, a Ballon d'Or, and 3 FIFA Player of the Year awards. This guy is giant. But it's only Germany that puts him in 8th place. ChatGPT and Grok chose another player, Franz Beckenbauer. Remember that in the end we'll see how the ranking will finish, going from the 20th place all the way up to the player who's voted as the greatest ever. So back to Beckenbauer, he was a defender, so he didn't score many goals. But as Germany and Bayern Munich's captain, he won 3 straight Champions Leagues, the 1972 UEFA Euro, earning a Ballon d'Or, in the 1974 World Cup. As a defender, he finished on the Ballon d'Or podium 3 times and won it once. That's huge. But let's see who the AIs voted for the 7th greatest player ever, where Grok and ChatGPT agreed again, voting for Ronaldo, the R9. But the other votes were different. Le Chat and DeepSeek went with Zidane. Meanwhile, Germany voted in a different way, for Stefano. So in the ranking, Stefano now surpasses Platini with 61 points. Stefano would be the leader if it weren't for Ronaldo, who reached 66 points, making him the GOAT so far. Zidane has also climbed a ton in the ranking, easily surpassing Van Basten, but still didn't catch up to George Best. Meanwhile, Beckenbauer is sitting at just 26 points. But that's about to change, cause for the 6th greatest player ever, Le Chat, Germany and DeepSeek all voted for him, earning him a huge boost in points. Meanwhile, Grok voted for Zinedine Zidane and ChatGPT picked a name that hadn't appeared yet, Johan Cruyff. If there's one player who influenced football history, it was Cruyff. He's the symbol of total football, a tactic that led the Netherlands to the final of the 1974 World Cup, with him scoring 3 goals and providing 3 assists in the tournament. Not to mention winning the Champions League with Ajax 3 times in a row and becoming the first player in history to win 3 consecutive Ballon d'Ors. He was so monumental to football history that, as the 5th greatest of all time, now entering the top 5, Grok, Le Chat, Germany and DeepSeek also voted for him. ChatGPT is the only one that didn't place him here. For the 5th greatest in history, it voted for Zidane. That's right, while Germany placed Zidane in 8th place, ChatGPT put him here. But let's see how the ranking stands for now. Well, Beckenbauer, who only had 26 points, shot up to 71. Meanwhile, Zidane reached 72. But Zizou isn't the leader. Cruyff came in strong, reaching 79 points. Among the players mentioned so far, he's the GOAT. But there are still 4 positions to go. And now the biggest controversies begin. Because in 4th place, Grok voted for Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, in 4th. For many, he's the number 1. And not without reason. 5 Ballon d'Ors, 5 Champions Leagues, national champion in 3 different countries, 1 UEFA Euro and 2 Nations Leagues. On top of that, his same play, the all-time Champions League top scorer, and is approaching 1,000 career goals. That's why many think he should be higher in this ranking. But all the other AIs also placed him in this position. The only one the AIs reached a consensus. But before we see the votes for 3rd, 2nd and 1st place, let's take a look at the final ranking from 20th to 4th place. And in 20th place, as the greatest player ever, there's the Italian Roberto Baggio with 17 points total. Then ahead of him comes Andres Iniesta, and in 18th place, Xavi. I'm shocked that Xavi is only in 18th place. But even more surprising is the fact that Ronaldinho is in 17th. Yeah. And ahead of Ronaldinho, as the 16th greatest player ever, is Garrincha with 21 points. Just 1 ahead of Ronaldinho. Then also 1 point ahead of Garrincha is Gerd Müller, considered by the AIs as the 15th greatest player. And in 14th place, there's another legendary striker, Ferenc Puskás with 25 points. He deserves to be on this list. The way the same points as Puskás is him, Paolo Maldini, also with 25 points. Now in 12th place, as the greatest in history, is him, Marco van Basten with 26 points. But he could have been even higher in this ranking. Van Basten played his last professional match at 28 years old. Just imagine if he had played for longer. But now, as the 11th greatest in history, there's a huge gap, from 26 points to a player with 47 points, George Best. with more than double the points of Ronaldinho. That's crazy. And in 10th place, we have Michel Platini, the 3-time Ballon d'Or winner. Continuing, in 9th place is Alfredo Di Stefano with 61 points. He's the oldest of the entire ranking, born in 1926, a real legend. But now, as the 8th greatest player, there's a much more recent striker, Ronaldo, the R9. Just like Van Basten, he's another player who, if it weren't for the injuries, would have been even greater. And in 7th place in the ranking is him, Franz Beckenbauer, with 71 points. Then ahead of him is Zinedine Zidane, just 1 point more. That was tight. So now we've reached the top 5. Now things get really serious. And as the 5th greatest player ever, we find Johan Cruyff. With 79 points, he's an absolute legend. But now comes the most controversial part, because in 4th place it comes him, Cristiano Ronaldo, with 85 points. Many would place him higher in this list, but it was literally a consensus among the AIs not to put him in the top 3. So now we've reached the top 3, the podium of the greatest players ever. And as the 3rd place in the GOAT ranking, Grok voted for Diego Maradona. Even with fewer numbers than Ronaldo, Maradona was a player who made millions fall in love with football. In the 1986 World Cup, he literally carried Argentina, with 10 goal involvements in 7 games, with goals that are remembered to this day. He also reached the final of the 1990 World Cup. But it wasn't just with the national team that he made history. He took a small Italian club that had never won a Serie A and led them to 2 Italian championships and the Europa League title. He's literally idolized in Naples. So in this 3rd place, not only Grok, but also ChatGPT and Gemini placed him here. But if they voted for Maradona, the French Le Chat voted for Messi. That's right, it put Messi in 3rd place. But another controversial vote came from the Chinese DeepSeek, choosing Pelé. That's right, Pelé and Messi appearing in 3rd place. That's wild. Now let's see who the AIs voted for 2nd and 1st place and see the results for the final ranking of the 20 greatest players ever. So in 2nd place, Le Chat and DeepSeek voted for Maradona, but ChatGPT went with Pelé. Football is divided into 2 eras, before and after Pelé. The only player to have won 3 World Cups, scoring in the final of 2 of them. He was such an icon that he made football known in many parts of the world, having scored more than 1,200 goals. Some of them were in friendlies, but friendlies back then were much more significant. Many were against European teams. He didn't win the Ballon d'Or because, at the time, it was only awarded to Europeans, but French football later acknowledged that he should have won it 7 times. A legend. For many, he's the undisputed number 1. But Grok and Google Gemini also placed him here. So now let's go to the 1st place. Who did the AIs vote for as the greatest player ever? Well, the French Le Chat casted its vote for Pelé. For the French AI, he's the GOAT. But ChatGPT disagrees, voting for Lionel Messi. If Maradona is remembered for his performance in 1986, in 2022, Messi repeated that feat with 7 goals and 3 assists, being named man of the match in 5 of the 7 World Cup games, leading Argentina to the title. If that were all, he'd already be in the history books. But he's also the player with the most titles in football history. 4 Champions Leagues, 2 Copa Americas, 6 Golden Boots, and a record of 8 Ballon d'Ors, plus nearly 1,300 goal involvements. But not only ChatGPT considers him the number 1, Grok, Gemini, and DeepSeek also voted for him. So in 3rd place in the ranking with 92 points is Diego Maradona, an absolutely massive score. But ahead of Maradona, with a staggering 95 of a possible 100 points, is Edson, better known as Pelé. So if Pelé is in 2nd, the greatest player in history according to the AIs, with an incredible 98 points is him, Lionel Messi. Do you agree with this list? Comment down below. And if you enjoyed this video, I think you're gonna like this one too. So thanks for watching and bye.